Hey, good morning. So today we will be learning symbiotic relationships, which is our second lesson in this unit. So before we get into the lesson, just make sure you complete the warm up, okay, day 2 warm up under unit 8. I'm not going to read the objectives here. Okay, just pause the video and read what it is. In short, we will talk about how different organisms interact in an ecosystem. Okay, so pause this video and you can write this down in your objectives. So before getting into today's lesson, I want to introduce to you some terms or vocab that you need to remember. The first one is the habitat. What is it? Habitat is where a species live, and it can change. Okay, it can change. Habitat will not remain the same. Habitat is simply the place where an organism lives, and mostly it changes, and the change can be due to different reasons. For example, the weather conditions. So during a rainy season, the stream will be having more water, which attracts more dried leaves in fall, etc. So this keeps changing, but just know the place where a species lives is its habitat. And then the next term I want you to know is the niche. What is niche? Niche is the role of an organism in its environment or in its habitat. So, what is the role of an organism in the habitat? So, you are going to think about what is the role of a squirrel that we often see in a park. Okay, just think about it, and we will discuss about the role of every organism in an ecosystem shortly. So the next term, the next vocab, symbiosis. What it is? Symbiosis is studying or knowing how one organism relate with each other. So what is the relationship between two organisms? If there are humans, who grows dogs? What is the relation between the human and dogs? So the relationship between two organisms will be explained by symbiosis. And there are two types in symbiosis and symbiotic relationships: mutualism and parasitism. Okay, so there are two types. We are going to talk about that. So, mutualism. What is it? So, from the term mutual, you can know it is both sides. Mutual means both sides, right? So, mutualism means a relationship where both species benefit from each other. So both are positive and positive. So if you see in this picture, it is a butterfly which feeds on the nectar from the flowers. So we know that the fly gets food from the flowers. But what is the benefit for this flower? When this butterfly feeds on the pollen, and when it moves flower to flower, it helps in spreading the pollen, which in turn helps in reproduction. So butterflies get their food, and flowers were able to reproduce because of the butterflies. So both are benefited by this, which is mutualism. Next, parasitism. I'm sure you'd have heard what parasites is, and you know what this picture is. A lice. Mm, a relationship when one species benefits and other is harmed. In uh, this is a worm that sucks the blood from the humans. So here the worms get their food, but humans, they get the disease, they lose their blood, etc. So it is negative. So positive for one and negative for the other is parasitism. The organism that has the parasites, so host is the organism that has the parasites. In this case, humans are the host and this is the parasite. And the relationship is called parasitism. Number 3, competition. When organism competes for space, reproduction or mates, food, and in case of several autotrophs, even sunlight. So competition is when two organisms compete with each other for different things. It may include space, mate, food, and in also sunlight. So when individuals of the same or different species attempt to use the same resources in one location at the same time. So you would have seen different organisms like a fight between two bulls, fight between like a kind of goat. So all the fights is because of the competition that is there for some reason. So a fight comes due to a competition. And then is the predator, prey, and it can also be called as predation, where one species benefits and other is killed. Okay, one benefits and other is killed so that the other one gets benefited. What does this mean? One organism hunting another organism so that they get food. And this is a video that is embedded in your PowerPoint presentation. So I want you to pause this video, go back to your PowerPoint presentation and watch this. So there is a relationship between predator and the prey. If you see in this graph, this is the x-axis which has time on it and population size of both. This is the population size or the increase of population for the predator, and this line is for the prey. If you can see, when one is increasing, the other will also increase, and one starts decreasing, the other will also decrease. So we have talked about what happens when one producer or one consumer is not present in the ecosystem yesterday. So think about it, what we discussed in yesterday's video. Okay, if the predator is getting lower, it automatically lowers the prey. So there is a direct relationship between the predator and the prey.